Hi, this is Chris of Wilson Wildlife Sculpture. In previous videos I showed how I find wood like this in the woods and how I carve and finish pieces, sand, and detail works. In this video I'm going to show how I finish work, including this realistic piece I'm going to combine with an interpretive base, very big oak base, and also how I finish this black cherry, walnut, and these are pieces that I found and also carved from big logs. So thanks for following me. I hope you you gained some good tips, and I appreciate your support, hitting that smash button, and as well as your likes and comments. So stay tuned here. I'll be demonstrating with my rubber gloves on here. I have to finish the stain piece here first. I'm going to stain this piece because this piece is is more red. This is cottonwood bark, and I have a flying barn swallow coming out of it. Little shadows here, but you can see that it's much darker than oak. And this is not red oak, unfortunately. It's white oak, so it finishes a little bit lighter. But I see birds flying out of it, and I've carved and finished it. And I am going to stain it first and then add some oil. But I got to work fast because you only want to put the stain on for 10 minutes, and I am approaching that time limit now. So I will be kind of working fast and showing numerous different bases that I found and I've carved. These are bases for my realistic works as well as for some interpretive sculptures. So bear with me here as I get the stain ready here. This is Scandinavian oil wood stain, and it's called red mahogany. So I'm able to get a darker finish, actually just redden this wood a little bit more. So that's what I'm going to put on first. Hopefully you can see that, the detail. And then I'll put oil over this. I'm going to wipe some of it down, but this is the more of an experimental process. I like to use Danish oil here. This Danish oil works really well in finishing, and I'm just putting it on with a brush. I'm not going to put all the areas, I just want to redden the wood, and I'm going to wipe most of it away and put an oil right over top of it. So hopefully it will blend in with the swallow emerging much better. Might take a couple coats. I may sand some of it off, but it's just a process that I do so that I'm gonna get out of the light here so you can see better on that side. Sorry, it's a beautiful day here. I like to work in the sun because it is December, and it's a little, it was below freezing this morning, so now it's warmer out here, so I can work in the sun and I can get some of this oil on these bases. So it's, I want to have a little contrast. I don't want to have the oil everywhere. I want to have it in just parts. Actually, this is the stain, but same with the oil. I'll leave parts of the wood natural, kind of weathered, and then I'll oil other parts, just like I sanded different parts to different degrees of finish. And I have videos on that process. I'm just trying to get all these details here. Get as much stain as on here as fast as I can. A little hard to do a video at the same time. If you watched one of my earlier videos, I actually had a sculpture fall during it and had to make repairs. So I don't want that mistake to happen again. So I'm just seeing these different birds kind of emerging from this piece of wood. And just wiping the stain on to get it more red, because these are very interpretive birds. They kind of look like swallows, any kind of little small songbird in flight. But that's enough stain for now. I'm going to put this down. I can always add in a coat stain. Put that away, and I'm going to add Danish oil right on top of that. Okay, this Danish oil here, it stains, it finishes. This is a natural finish. You can get like a cherry finish that would work. I don't have any. I have some dark walnut, but I prefer natural because I like the natural the wood show. But again, merging white oak with cottonwood bark is a bit of a challenge, getting the colors right to be more alike, more analogous. So I just pour the oil in a can, just a little tuna can, and I have longer time to work on this. So I won't be quite as much of a hurry. I'm going to wipe some of the oil off that I just put on. Actually, this is the stain. Okay. And then I'm going to oil other parts, which is going to darken the wood, and then I will sand that into the wood. So here's some close-up here you can see. Now I'm on the right side, so not in the sun, so you can see what I'm doing. Just flooding that surface of the wood, all these nooks and crannies. Don't have to hit every little nook and cranny, but I'm trying to saturate the wood because I am going to sand and rub a lot of it off. I like it a little bit darker towards the base. This is a very big piece of wood here. See if you can see it. It's not, it's huge, but it's like 3 feet. I might back away a little bit here so you can see more detail here of what I'm doing. Here we go. So I don't usually put stain before I oil it, but again, I want to make this wood more reddish. I could add a little oil paint in there, that also works, but it tends to be very opaque. You can get some translucent colors, but reds are usually pretty opaque. And oil saturates, and it's pretty translucent, so you can see the natural beauty of the wood. I'm actually going to finish all these pieces, so if you stick around, you'll see some beautiful pieces that I found and how they finish, and I'll give you more tips throughout so you can finish your own work and create such interpretive sculptures if you like. Now I found this in the woods, and I did a lot of sanding on it as well as carving, but I've left parts natural. Let's see if you can see this really well here. Trying to get it so you can see the whole thing, but I want to show my process as well. I'm going to leave some of that gray there natural. Okay, that's where the wood has weathered, and don't want it too dark on the top. It needs to be a little bit of oil there. Okay, so right now, usually you have to do a couple passes of adding oil. That'll give you a nice luxurious sheen. This is going to be hand rubbed finish. So I'm going to rub that oil in there with the stain. And if you stay tuned in future videos, I'll show you how it looks with the barn swallow, how I merge the two pieces. Again, I might sand some things if it's too dark. This oak is finishing very, very dark, and probably much darker than the barn swallow in flight. But it might look good for contrast. I am making it more red, so it'll be more analogous. I like to finish the back of my sculptures, as you can see, so they look finished as well. I sand them, and I always sign my work. It looks more professional that way. And this also seals and protects the wood. I made sure there's no insects in the wood. It's all very clean. This is a pretty big piece of wood here. It's hard to show you just in this little video. But I've done a lot of sanding on it, and polishing to about 600 grit, and that's what I'm going to use here next. I'm going to use wet dry sandpaper and get it really hand rub finish looking good. But I'm just trying to get as much oil as I can. And all the little grooves. If I miss some grooves, that's okay. This is the back of the sculpture. I just wanted to make it look finished. You can see it. This will hang on the wall. I have a hanger here. I don't know if you can see that little sawtooth hanger. There you go. So this is the back of the sculpture, what I'm finishing, but even that's pretty cool. I could make it actually freestanding if I make it on a base, and that's a possibility. I like to give my clients options. So it's looking pretty good now, but that stain is gonna set really fast. So I gotta make sure I work fast. Speaking of giving clients options, I have abstract work, I have realistic work, I have many different styles on my website. So here I'm using that wet dry sandpaper, okay, and I'm just sanding that oil into the wood, giving a hand rub finish. Get a good close up of that so you can see the wood. I don't really like glossy finishes. It looks too plastic and fake. I really like hand rub finishes, and the more you sand and hand rub that oil in the wood and then polish with a cloth, the better it's going to look. It's coming out a little darker than I thought, but it is getting redder because of that stain than if I just put straight Danish oil on there. So again, this is an experiment in mixing stain and oil in the same finish, and it's working. So I like to experiment, especially with finishes. I use dyes, I use pigments. I don't use too much epoxies and chemicals because I'm concerned about the health and toxicity of those materials. And so I like to use reclaimed wood that I find. I don't take any trees down. I don't cut any trees. I don't buy wood that's taken down from a tropical rainforest or anything. So I always try to use sustainable materials in my work. This comes from the southeast. This is an old stump. Okay, what's left of an old oak tree. Trying to show you the whole piece here. Okay, so once I got it sanded, it pretty good, I'm going to add a little oil on it here. Actually, I added oil. I think I'm good with the oil. So I added the oil. I think I'm going to remove some of that so that it's not as dark in the highlights. So I am staining on my glove a little bit red, so I know that stain's in there, but it's coming off a little bit as I rub it. So I am now rubbing this with an old cotton sock. I'll use a softer rag for when I use straight Danish oil on other bases, like that black cherry in the background. Looking forward to see how that finishes. I've got a pair of chipmunks that are going to be chasing each other on that black cherry base, and it's really a cool composition. So stay tuned here to see all these pieces and how they finish up. Yeah, this is working really nicely. So if you ever thought about changing the color of the wood with the finish, I would recommend staining it as well as combining with oil. And I'm pretty happy with these results. And you may not be able to see it too good in this outside light. I'll have some better indoor videos and showing the finished piece and how I merge that swallow with the with this interpretive base. So thanks a lot for following me. I'll try to back out so you can see the whole piece here. I appreciate watching my videos and trying to learn from me, and hopefully I can inspire you. And again, this is my passion, and I try to use sustainable materials in my work and try to preach that and teach others to have fun and help the environment. So thanks again. Have a great day.